All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to either revive an image, like an image that was almost perfect, but for whatever reason, the tilt of the head, the direction of the eyes, the fingers, right? Something about the image that threw you off, something that you don't love. I'm going to show you how to take those images and bring them back to life by doing a limb swap or an eye swap or a nose swap, right? Or you can use the same technique to enhance an image that you love and just make you love it more by adding more hair or adding different elements. So to illustrate that in this example, I'm going to do an eye swap and I'm going to do a hair swap. So we'll start with the eye swap. So now to do this, so again, sometimes, you have an image that's almost perfect. So for in this example, Reese is looking away, which is fine, right? But let's say I wanted her to more so look at the lens or look in the direction of the lens, right? What you want to have to get started are two photos with similar perspectives, right? So for example, this is the same photo shoot and these are probably taken moments apart. So for the most part, I should have similar lighting. Things may be a little bit different, but I should have similar lighting and proportions, right? As opposed to taking a picture that was, super close up, right? And that's not impossible. And then having another image that was, a mid shot like this. It can work. It's just a lot easier if you have images that are similar in size, proportion, and perspective. All right. So this is what you have. This is what we have here. So the first thing we need to do, right, is to come over to our scrap image, the image we're going to steal body parts and things like that from. We want to come over here to our left to the toolbar, and the third icon down is our lasso tool. So you want to click that lasso tool. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. On a Mac, it's Control Plus. We'll get that at position. And then with the lasso tool, because I'm doing an eye swap, I'm just going to draw a circle or selection around the eyes. Now, to give myself room for error and give myself some leeway, I'm not going to just draw a right around the eyeball. All right, I'm going to give myself a little bit more room than that. So I'm going to do sort of like the eye socket. So I'll start here under the eyebrow. I'll bring it around here. We'll come down here, and then I'll close that circle. Now, to make multiple selections, you want to hold down Shift, because if you don't hold down Shift and try to make another selection, it'll just erase or deselect your original selection. So that I can, grab both eyes, I'm going to hold down Shift and do the same thing on this eye. Again, giving myself that leeway, getting the whole eye socket, and again, close that. All right. Now from here, I'm just going to make a copy, hit Control J. This makes a copy right here. So you can look over here to the Layers tab. This is, with the image beneath toggled on. So you see I have a separate layer for the eyes. Now I'm just going to take this, hit V. I'm going to drag it over to the other photo and just drop it down. And you see, because the photos are similar in size, perspective, and stuff like that, it just makes it a lot easier. So from here, I'm just going to grab it and line it up. And you can already see where we're going with this. Right now, of course, there will be some tweaks, and we'll take care of those tweaks now. I'll toggle the bottom image on and off. Right, this is the top image on and off. Now, to make this easier, what I'm going to do is turn my come over here to my right and turn my opacity down to where I can see both images, the layer over top and the layer beneath. And this just makes it a lot easier for me to get everything in line because I can see both. Right, I can see if I need to resize anything. So what I'm going to do first is, let me bring this above, and I'm focused on this eye because this eye already looks like it's like lined up perfectly, and I think that'll do. Now we can see over here that this eye is a little bit lower. So what I'm going to do is hit Control T to select this layer. After I hit Control T, you see this blue rectangle. I'm going to come over here to one of the corners. You'll see the mouse or the cursor turn into this double bent arrow, and then I'm just going to rotate it just a bit. Right, and then use my arrow keys just to sort of bring it down a little bit more. That looks decent. I'll go ahead and rotate a little bit more. And once you're happy with like the placement, you can go ahead and check that. And this looks decent enough to me, right? So from here, I'll come back over here, turn the opacity up. I'll zoom out just a bit and see how I like it. I like it. All right, so now, pretty much almost there. The last thing we'll have to do, because you can obviously see that there's rings around her eyes, right? And that's because even though it's the same photo shoot, right, same person, her head is in a different position in this image as it is as opposed to this image, right? Which makes the lighting on her skin a little bit different. So no need to worry. So we'll just make sure we have this top layer selected, right? The eye layer selected. I'm going to come over here to my left and grab the eraser tool. Now, once you grab the eraser tool, you want to come up here to this drop down arrow. Make sure the hardness is all the way down to 0. Make sure it's a soft brush. What this allows you to do is it gives you a lot more grace and a gradient as you erase away these lines. If you have the hardness all the way up and you start to erase, you will erase away the lines, but you'll continue to see a hard line. It'll just be a smaller version of what you see here. So to make sure everything blends perfectly, we'll make sure we have a soft brush. I'm going to take my bracket, make this a smaller brush. So the brackets on Photoshop, the left bracket makes it smaller, makes the brush smaller. The right bracket makes it larger, right? So I'll get that at a decent size and just slowly but surely start to make this thing believable, which is why earlier I said give yourself, instead of just selecting the eyeball, you can get around, give yourself a little bit more circumference so that as you start to do this part, it's a lot easier, right? And just like that, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Erase that hard line. Boom. And just like that, we'll toggle on and off. And just like that, we've taken an image where she wasn't looking at the lens, right? And let's say we wanted her to look at the lens, and we've got, given ourselves that opportunity just by swapping the eyes from one photo, right, to another photo, right? And you can spend more time on here if you want, tweak it, right? If you think it looks better lower, that probably does look better, right? And that's the gist. Right, once you've done this, if you're happy with it, you can select both layers. Boom, hold shift, select both layers. Right click and then merge layers or flatten image. So now this is one entire change photo. Hope that was helpful. As always, ABC, always be creating. I'll see you on the next video. And in the next video, I'm going to do something similar, but it's going to be a hair swap or a hair edition as opposed to like the eyeball edition. As always, ABC, always be creating, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.